is Clear Stamps, take 62. Action.
I have a really nice job. I mean, I get to work with Elizabeth, who has all kinds of wonderful ideas, and when we get together, sparks fly, and you never know what's going to happen. And we have a brand new product for you.
A brand new product that we've never had before.
Not you and I. No. I mean, there is...
She's had it before, but I haven't.
There we go. That's a little more accurate. So I have had the pleasure of taking some of Elizabeth's, I hate to use the word failed designs, but these were
failed designs.
Some of them didn't work as stencils. That would be the failure.
They failed as stencils because they had too much intricate detail.
Yes,
they couldn't be cut as a stencil, but they had great detail.
And so we have clear stamps. Now some of these you're going to recognize as stencils, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I am so excited by these. Some of the work is drudgery. I mean, when you're in Photoshop for an hour messing with a stamp or trying to fix something, that's drudgery. But the result is far from drudgery.
Yes, it's very exciting, very fine detail, very new and different and awesome.
And we had a good time playing with them.
We did. We got our hands dirty.
We did, yeah. So shall we go do it?
Yeah, let's show them how they work.
All right. Here are the 6 stamps that I created. Well, I took the imagery that Elizabeth provided with me. That's my part of the creation process. It's actually quite small. But she's really good about allowing me to pick and choose, and usually she's pretty happy with what I do, so that makes me feel good. It's a fun partnership that we have where we get to do these great things together. So these are all on a 4x6 format, so these stamps measure just a tick under 4x6. This is Dare to Dream. You might recognize this because this is one of my favorite stencils. This is named Halftone Dorothy. So Dare to Dream is something that we tried to work on a while ago, and it didn't work for what we had in mind, but it worked perfectly for this. Halftone Dorothy is in fact a stencil. Ink blot was another thing that we tried to do and didn't work quite the way we had in mind, but it works wonderfully as this stamp. Klimt cubes. Do you recognize this? Because it's a stencil that has been so incredibly popular in Elizabeth's various Klimt releases. I've just reduced it a little bit, again, to fit this 4x6 format.
I recognize it.
Right?
Yes.
And Mirror Mirror, which is a portion of the stencil by the same name, again, reduced a little bit. And then this last one, again, something we had in mind for a different project, but this one-way ticket works really, really well. And you're gonna see Elizabeth use this and Dare to Dream. And then after she gets done, I'm gonna come back and show you a few things that I did that are not collage oriented, but certainly ways that you can use these stamps that are very effective.
So I'm wicked excited about these new clear stamp designs. They're a whole new thing, right? So I'm using them to create some kind of layers, transparent layers in collage, and I'm going to show you how I would use those for backgrounds. So I created this first little 4x6 piece, and you can see that I've layered over each other the stamp patterns on wet strength tissue. So you get sort of this soft kind of ephemera background, and I've left an area here kind of where you would put a subject. And this is a 4x6 piece of roll-off paper, gel printed paper. So the challenge with that is that's about as big as you could go without getting a wrinkle or a bubble when you glue this big 4x6 piece. So what would I do if I was going to be working on something really big, like 12x24 or 12x12 or something like that? I wouldn't want to have to try to create one big giant sheet. So that worked well for the small application. But then I thought about how would I create this background for a larger application. So since we're here in the remote studio of Sacramento, we don't have a big giant board, but I created this background where I just rolled onto the board with neutral colors with my, what is this, one and a half?
I believe it is, yep.
1.5 inch brayer. So the colors that I used to create kind of that rolled off background were the Titan Buff Deep and the Raw Sienna and Naples Yellow. So I just put them on the brayer and rolled, you know, across the surface. The other thing that was neat was I was able to roll the color on the edges really easy, a lot easier than using a paintbrush, and you get this kind of weathered effect. And so that's what I would do on a very large format to create a neutral background color that I would then glue these beautiful transparent layers for collage on the wet strength tissue with the very fine detail of these clear stamps. So I'm going to be using the VersaFine Clair ink pads, and they are waterproof and fade resistant. So they're great for working in artwork that you're going to hang on the wall. And the key to creating the background so that it's sort of soft and subtle, like they are in both of these cases, is not to have super high contrast. So I didn't want to use really dark versions of the stamps. I wanted to have like a lighter version, like you can see here, where the stamping is lighter. And achieving that is really easy. So I'm just going to demonstrate that for you. And I'm using wet strength tissue. And these two designs, which I do not know what they're called. One-way ticket.
One-way ticket and Dare to Dream.
And Dare to Dream. Good job. Awesome. Okay. So they are colored from a previous stamping, but that color is not going to transfer because it's dried on there and because these are waterproof. So you can certainly add this color to the stamp that's got a previous purple ink on it, and it works just fine. So I did use this color, which is the Warm Breeze, for several of the wet strength tissue prints that I used on this color. But I wanted to show you how to use how to create a neutral background. So that's why I use these neutral colors. And for that one, I'm going to be using this one that is called Sand Dune. There's also a brown that's called
I think it's Portobello.
Portobello.
I hit it.
You hit it. It's a little darker than this, though. So this will be a nice, light, neutral color. So we're going to take the lid off of that. And what I like to do is dab it. Oh, and to let you know, I've attached the clear stamp to the piece of Mylar that it comes in the packaging. You can also attach it to an acrylic block. But I kind of like the flexibility of it like this. I think you can be a little creative. You could stamp just the end of it like that. You could stamp it off the edge of the paper. You could roll part of it. You know, you can get some kind of artistic effects like that.
So something, oops, I'm looking for one-way ticket. Well, we'll just use Dare to Dream as an example. So when you, oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it. When you receive the stamps, I'm desperately trying to get this off. It is indexed on a heavier piece of acetate. Elizabeth, initially, it was hard to see where she was doing anything because that black from the indexing was kind of in the way. So she switched it to the lighter weight piece of acrylic that is on the other side of the stamp. And when you see yours, you will understand what that is. But what that means is that you kind of have this built-in mount that is very flexible that you can use. And if you don't need a perfect image, then this is a great way to get it.
Yeah, I like it because it gives you an imperfect image, which is nice. So I'm just going to take the stamp pad and tap it over the surface of the clear stamp. And the first print is going to be dark and high contrast, which would be great if we were working over a darker color. So the way to get the light stamp, you could use a lighter ink application, but what I like to do is a second generation stamp. So here we've got our first one, and then I'm going to come right over here and not ink it again, and I'm going to get a lighter one. And it picked up some of the purple, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, so I'll do it again a little lighter with the stamp pad, and we'll get that light application. You can also do it with pressure. You saw that I applied the stamp pad lighter and I pressed lighter when I put it down on the paper. So here's the one-way ticket. I like to do the second generation because then that way I have a dark one and a light one, and it gives me more options on the same sheet of paper. So again, I'm going to put this down. We're going to get the first one that's going to be heavy. And the next one should be lighter. And I think I used a little less ink on this one than that one. So we're going to get varying degrees of, like, that's so nice and soft and subtle.
And that's all the variables that go into what you're doing here and how you can change things up.
Yep. And the nice thing, so, you might ask, why would you do it on here and then overlay it on this rather than stamp directly on this? Well, you stamp it on here and it's too dark, you can't change it. You stamp it on here and you don't like where it is, you can't move it. So this is going to give us the flexibility of choosing the level of contrast we want and the size of the piece and moving it around and that sort of thing. So I'm going to, the wet strength tissue tears easily in one direction, but not in both. So I'm just going to cut this here out, and then I can soften the edge by tearing. So if I want to I want the edge of my pattern to not end abruptly in a square, I'm just going to tear it sort of to soften it so it blends into the background. And you see it tears that way nicely. And then, so here this one ends rather straight, and I don't want it to end straight like that. I kind of want it to trail off in a more natural kind of painterly fashion. So I tore this, and now I have like a rough edge, right? So I found that this wet strength tissue goes the most transparent when you use a gloss medium to glue it down. The gloss really makes it go more clear. And we are working with matte because we don't have all of our products with us. But one other thing that helps, I found, is that when you get it wet. So I'm just spraying it with water, and you can see how totally translucent that wet strength tissue goes. And I'm going to put the glue down right here. And because it's wet strength tissue, you could never do this with regular tissue, because if you got it wet like that, you wouldn't be able to pick it up. It would fall apart. So we're just going to pick that up, and it's totally saturated all the way through. We're going to put it in the gel medium, and because that's a waterproof stamp pad, obviously the gel medium and the water is not moving that pattern around. So I'm wrapping it over the edge, and I'm pressing the glue into it. And now I've got an even kind of more ethereal, softer effect, and varying degrees. Even this one, I used a little purple. And so I'm going to now grab a little bit more of this. And here with my nonstick craft mat being wet, I can just dip it in the water that's already there and kind of add this, maybe overlap over this way.
And this is the advantage too of the wet strength tissue. You could choose to pick that up now if you wanted before it's set, but you can easily overlap things in a way that you can't if you were stamping directly on the surface.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you can not only pick it up, but you could reposition it so it doesn't fall apart. So I could choose to put it up here instead, and I can move it like that. Even though I soaked it with water, I can move it like that. And the beauty I like with this in the layering is overlaying one of the patterns of the clear stamp over the other. So let's get I'll tear that one out, and let's put that so it overlays like this one here, so we can overlap, and you're seeing them right through each other. So we get these transparent layers in collage, and I'm tempted to put a little bit more of that purple in there. So I'm going to grab this in the purple. Let's get that wet. And let's put that, layer that over here, over this. So not only can you layer it over the background and have it look as though it's stamped right on the background, but we can then use these transparent layers over themselves. So we get pattern from the stamps showing through each other. So I'm running out of water here. There we go. So I'm going to overlay this purple over that previous layer. I'm just wrapping it around the edge like that. And here we get these beautiful transparent layers overlapping and creating this kind of really nice soft background. And then you would put your mixed media collage subject right here in the middle. And Barb had some little cutouts somewhere.
Oh, hold on. I moved them
Nah.
in an effort to neaten things up.
Well, so I'll show you. I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but these are these neat little cutouts.
These are from Art by Marlene.
From Art by Marlene. You could put that on here. So if you weren't me and you didn't want to collage a bird on top of here or collage a flower on top of here, you could take this little guy and put him on there, and you've just created your subject with your beautiful neutral collage layered background. So whether you choose to put an Art by Marlene on the top or you choose to collage your own mixed media subject on top, these transparent layers with the waterproof stamp pads and the really fine line detail of the clear stamps are a great combination.
My options for using this stamp are similar but different to what Elizabeth did. Rather than stamping on wet strength tissue, which would work beautifully on here, I chose to stamp directly on the surface. So this one is this is Mirror Mirror, right?
Yeah.
This is Mirror Mirror, and one of the options that you have is to use the stamp in its entirety, like I did here, or you can choose bits and pieces of it. So I have another, this is Dare to Dream. There's just a little tiny bit here. I used a color that was very close to the background, so it's a very subtle layer. And then someplace here. Okay, so this is ink blots. Again, this is a 4x6 index card, and I just stamped it and created that border around it and added some other things on top. So working with these stamps, your options are very, very open. The other thing that you can do is you can stamp parts of things. This is one-way ticket, and I have stamped it, just bits and pieces of it, kind of all over the place, and I haven't all stamped it in one direction. I've kind of turned things around so that it fit in where I wanted it to go. Now, one of the important things about working with a clear stamp is, and I'm going to stamp this in 1 second, is you can see through it. Where'd my page go? That wasn't it. Here it is. You can see through it so that you can place your images. So I don't want to necessarily stamp over what's here because I don't want to ruin these white dots. So what I did here, again, was take advantage of the nature of the clear stamp and place it where I wanted it to go. So you don't have to limit yourself to larger journal pages. These are some of our journal decks cards, and you can see just little bits and pieces. All of these elements go into making interesting bits. And there goes a motorcycle outside. You can tell it's rush hour. This is nope, it's not Punchinella, it's Halftone Dorothy. So something interesting to think about. You don't have to use the entire piece. This is just a piece of the rice paper. I placed it like this. I took Halftone Dorothy and I stamped around it, and then when I picked this up, it left me this nice open area. So lots of different ways that you can use these. So I'm gonna now grab Mirror Mirror, and I'm going to use, I think this is the color I decided on. Nope, it's not. I'm going to use the Bally Blue. And I want to just position some of the Mirror Mirror. But like I said, I don't want to overlap because I've got those white dots on there that I don't want to alter. And I don't necessarily need a super heavy amount. I'm not even going to ink the whole stamp. I don't need to. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of let this run off the page. And there's a little bit there. And because this has a definite direction, I don't know that I necessarily want to turn that, but let's just come in and put a little teeny bit right there. And again, with the clear stamp, I can see where I'm going with that. And I don't even have to re-ink it every single time. I can get a lighter generation. And you heard Elizabeth talk about multiple stampings creates multiple generations, and each one gets a little bit lighter as you go along. So I don't have to fill this whole background in. If I want to leave an area open so I can put some sort of a focal element, I can do that. But again, with it being clear, I have the option to really see what I'm doing. So we have these 6 fabulous designs, some of which you'll recognize, as I said earlier, as Elizabeth stencils, and some are some new designs. If only I could talk. No need to.
Right.
No need to.
So do you remember that expression from New England? Did your mother say this to you in this very accent? Sew buttons on your father's underwear.
No, we didn't get that one, and I'm okay with that, really.
Maybe mine came from Canada.
Maybe. anything's possible. You know what? This is day one.
She just ignores me.
Well, yeah.
And so then, we'll just keep talking.
Yeah, this is the end of day one, and it's been a long, very productive day one. And I don't know about you, sister, but I'm feeling a little punchy.
She wants pizza.
But I don't get pizza often, but when we come here, when I come here rather, there's an awesome pizza place right around the corner. We are making a beeline for there.
We're headed out.
This. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So these clear stamps, I'm super excited about them. I know Elizabeth is, and we hope you have even a fraction of as much fun with them as we did, because we had a really good time with them.
Yeah. I think you're really gonna like them.
Yep. And it's new and it's different and it's fun.
It's fun, and fun is good.
Fun is good.
All right then, we'll see you back here next week.
Bye.